Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Adam. Bringing another fun Vinyasa class today. So grab your mats, and we'll start on our hands and knees. So shifting the weight onto your hands and knees, we'll start to rock side to side, warming up through the wrists, the shoulders, and the fingers and the knees. Hips, a little bit of a back. And start to find some circles around the wrists. Squeezing through the fingertips as the weight starts to come into that respective hand, and then transferring that weight to the opposite hand. You circle in a couple directions and circle the opposite direction. All right. Now let's pause the movement. Draw the knees together behind you. All right, press into the hands, extend the right leg long behind you. Then we'll start to point and flex to the toes, keeping the right leg right in line with the right hip initially. Find the rotation through the ankle. And then we'll point the right toes, engage the right glute, press firmly into both hands, and then slowly start to lift that right leg, keeping the right leg long, just engaging the right glute, a little compression in the mid lower back. Maybe start to lift the chest, lift the gaze just slightly. 2 more breaths. Keep that right ball of the foot lifted, right hip pushing down. And then slowly gaze back to neutral, lower the right leg back in line with the hip. And then we'll open the right knee out to the side and start to draw some circles with the right knee. So getting some lubrication moving in that right hip. We'll go 3 directions in one way, and then 3 circles in the opposite way. As big or as little as you want. All right, once you're done with your circles, extend that right leg long, point the toes towards the ground, and we'll open up that right leg towards the side. Keep the right toes pointing down. Press into your left palm so you can keep your shoulders stable. And then gently set your right foot down, off to the side, knife edge of the foot pushing into the mat. And then keeping that right leg long, slowly start to press your hips back towards your left heel. And just feel that big stretch in the right groin. That left hip is pushing off to the side, to the left side, so you can keep that nice engagement to your right groin as you push your hips back. Nice, slowly come back to center. Walk your left hand in the center of your face. Inhale, right arm high, gentle twist with that right leg still extended out to the side. Reach up nice and high with the right arm. Maybe let the heart start to open towards the ceiling. And on your next exhale, right hand comes down. Both hands to the mat. Core engaged. Inhale, both arms sweep high. Palms touch above the head. And then we'll take a gait pose, right hand coming down that right thigh, left arm reaching up and over towards the right side of the room. Gaze can shift underneath your left armpit. Feel that big side body opener. 2 more breaths. Next inhale, both arms come high, palms touch. And on the exhale, hands come down to the mat underneath the shoulders. And then we'll engage and lengthen that right leg long behind us again. Gaze to your left hand, modified half moon. Spin to the knife edge of that left hand. Right arm reaches towards the ceiling. Right leg is kicking back nice and long behind us. Engage to the right glute. Now, option to stay here with the engagement or bend the top leg, finding your sugarcane variation. Nice big hip flexor and quad opener. Push firm through the hips. Sugar canes release back to that modified half moon. Keep the right leg long, right hand comes to the mat. Square the shoulders forward. And then we'll come up to the fingertips. Maybe the hand's a little bit wider than shoulder width. Keep the right leg long behind you, and then we'll start to bend the right knee, taking a long cow pose with that right leg bent, reaching ball of the foot towards the ceiling, pulling the chest through, lifting the gaze. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Keep the gaze high. 1 more breath. Neutral the gaze. Slowly lower your right knee next to your left. Palms to the mat, and we'll find a long cow pose or cat pose. Chin to the chest. Tailbone tucked under. Maybe a little movement side to side, pressing your upper back towards the ceiling. 2 more breaths. Nice, and then neutral the spine back out. Walk the feet together behind you, the knees together. And then in your next exhale, extend the left leg long behind you. Take some time, point and flex to the toes, round through the left ankle. Alright, so once that ankle's feeling good, pause here. Point the left toes, square the shoulders, engage that left glute, and slowly start to lift the left leg a little higher than you normally would. Keeping the left hip pressing down. Maybe the shifting of the gaze up. Pull the collarbone through, one more breath. And then shift your gaze back to neutral, return your left leg in line with the left glute. And then we'll bend that left knee and start to open up and finding those 3 circles in one direction with the left hip. And then we'll do that same thing opposite direction. Just getting that synovial fluid nice and lubricated into our left hip. And then finding the extension left leg, left toes pointing towards the ground. Engaging your left hip, slowly open your left leg open to the side, pointing your left toes down. Press into your right arm to transfer weight back. One more breath. And let that left leg slowly lower down. Knife edge of the foot is pressing into the side. And then we'll keep the right hip moving to the right, and then press the right glute back towards your right heel. To a nice long left hamstring, left groin as you start to press back. And then slowly make your way forward. Right hand shifts underneath the face. Gentle twist, left arm reaches high. Gaze shifting up. Keep the spine long between the tailbone and the crown of the head. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down. The core gets engaged. Inhale, both arms sweep high. Touch the palms above the head. And then we'll take our gate pose. Left arm reaches down your left calf, left thigh. Right arm reaches up and over the head. Gaze underneath the right armpit. Nice, inhale, both arms come high, palms touch. And on the exhale, hands come back down to the mat underneath the shoulders. Engage your core, left leg lengthens behind you. And look at the right hand. We'll take our modified half moon. Left leg stays extended. Left arm reaches towards the ceiling. Now stay here, bend the top leg, taking your modified sugar cane, capturing the top foot, then pressing firmly through that left hip flexor, left quad. Feel the stretch in the shoulder. One more breath. Release the foot if you still have it. Left hand comes down to the mat. Keep the left leg long. Come up to the fingertips, widen out the grip. Bend your left knee. Point the left toes towards the ceiling. We'll find that long cow pose with the back bend. Pushing your left ball of the foot up. Pull the collarbones through. One more breath in. Gaze neutral to the top of the mat first. Left knee meets the right. Both palms to the mat. And then we'll move into that angry cat pose, chin to the chest. About 3 breaths here. Feel free to find some movement here. Maybe pushing hips back towards the heels and finding a little half circles from left to right. Might feel good for your lower back. Nice, back to your neutral spine. Let's curl the toes and find our way into our downward dog. Pedal the feet. All right, draw the feet together behind you. Let's inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, slowly bring knee to right elbow. Squeeze the fingertips, pause for the exhale. Inhale, right leg lifts high, nice and slow. Exhale, knee across to your left. Little touch and pause here. Pull the right shoulder back. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, slow knee to nose. Flex the right toes, step between the hands. Keep the hands on the mat, crescent lunge legs. And then we'll start to drop the hips down a little bit. Take a few breaths here, sinking deep into your left hip flexor and opening up a little bit more into that right hamstring. I like to have my fingers tented here, but you can have your hands flat if that feels good. And we're going to find a little movement here. On the inhale, we're going to slowly straighten the right leg, almost coming into a pyramid pose. As soon as that right leg straightens, press into your left ball of the foot, and then bend the right knee, come forward again. As soon as the right knee bends, lengthen the right leg, start to straighten it again, coming into pyramid, and then moving right back into that crescent lunge legs. And we'll do that about 3 or 4 more times. Just finding this nice motion here, almost like a locomotive. And we'll do one more time, coming back, and this time holding in your pyramid pose, that long pyramid pose. Pull the right hip back. Left heel driving towards the mat. This is a pretty long pyramid pose, so left heel might not touch. 2 more breaths. Keep that right hip pulled in and back. And then we'll start to bend the right knee, pressing forward, and then slowly stepping left foot to right, forward fold, top of the mat. Feet together, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle sweep the arms high, slowly lifting the head above the heart. And then we'll sit down into our chair pose. So not too long in our chair, not super deep in our chair. Just getting some integrity back into the muscle groups that we've been opening up. Sink down a little bit deeper. Lighten up those toes. The next inhale, slowly rise all the way up. First standing back bend. As soon as you're upright, bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you, and press your hips forward. This is the first official standing back bend, so take it easy. Press the hips forward, squeeze your glutes. One more breath. Inhale, rise. And exhale, fold through center. Halfway lift, inhale. Plant the hands high plank as you step back and hold. It's about 10 seconds here. So soon these planks will turn into chaturangas if that's something in your practice. It can always be a plank to downward dog or a modified chaturanga or traditional. 2 more breaths here. Press your fingers into the mat, especially your thumbs. Inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Nice job. Feet together. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, slow knee to left elbow. Hold for the exhale. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee across to the right. As soon as it touches, pull your left shoulder back, even out the body. Inhale, extend left leg. Exhale, slow knee to nose, pause. Flex the toes. Gently step your left foot between the hands, crescent lunge legs. Hands stay on the mat. And then the first about 3 breaths or so, let's drop the hips down towards the ground. Just find that gentle movement down, opening up through the right hip and the left hamstring. All right, and then from here we'll find that oscillating, moving from our crescent lunge legs through through pyramid. So we'll straighten that front leg. As soon as it gets straight, press into your back heel, come forward, bend the knee. About 3 or 4 times. Just finding that nice rounding motion through the hips, almost drawing a circle with your pelvis. Just one more rotation here. And on that next time, you can straighten the leg, hold in your pyramid pose, left hip pulling back, then driving your right heel towards the ground. Feel that long, long stretch in your left hamstring. Nice job. Now start to bend your left knee. And then shift the weight forward, feet together, top of the mat, forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Slow circle sweep the arms high, inhale. Chair pose on the exhale, sit down. Maybe a little more depth in the second chair. Again, finding integrity back into your hips and hamstrings, into our lower body and our posterior chain. Sink a little bit deeper. Nice job. Next inhale, stand all the way up. Another standing back bend. Arms could be interlaced, our hands interlaced, or elbows bent. Always your choice. Find your depth. And change as you rise up. Fold as you exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. High plank. About 5 seconds this time. So about 2 strong breaths, and then an option for a chaturanga. Big breath in. And chaturanga on your exhale. You can lower the knees down if you wish for a modified upward dog or low cobra on your inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Nice job. Feet together. Inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Pause here. Gaze to your left hand. Side plank, Vashisthasana, left arm down, right arm high. Take some time here playing around. You can drop your left knee for stability, or you can lift your right leg if you want to get big with this pose and very nice and expansive. Now we're going to transition to Crescent Lunge here. So you can grab the right knee, right toe, or if you have the core strength, bring the right foot forward. See if you can hover and slowly land that right foot forward. Straighten out your hips, and then inhale, Crescent Lunge, both arms lift. Nice job. Now that we're upright, let's bring hands in a heart center and find a crescent twist from here. On the inhale, we'll lengthen, look to the right. Exhale, twist, left elbow hooks the right knee. And then try to pull your right hip back in line. Keep it in line with the right knee. Try to stack the elbows, maybe open up the arms. And then gaze up and over your right shoulder, if that feels okay. If the arms are wide, bring the hands back together. Gaze down. Unhook that left elbow, crescent lunge. Inhale, arms lift high. On your next exhale, warrior two. Drop the back heel, open it up. Firmly pushing through that back knife edge of the foot. Feel the left glute engage to pull the left hip open. Stay deep in the front knee. Flip the front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. Right arm up. Still deep in the front knee. Big breath in. Chaturanga. On your exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Maybe an option to lift that right leg for your three-legged chaturanga. Lower down. Up dog or low cobra. Down dog, exhale. All right, next inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Pause in your high plank. Feel the strength in your base. Then we'll gaze to the right hand, spin the knife edge to the right foot. Bakasana, side plank, left arm high. Now again, you can get big with this pose. You can be compact, modify, intensify. Just know that we're moving into those crescent lunge legs in a couple breaths. So if you want, you can grab your left knee with the left hand, or slowly start bringing your left leg forward using your core strength. Planting that left foot as lightly as you can, unraveling into your crescent lunge. Both arms lift high as you settle into the hips. Now feel the strength in your base. Shoulders and hips are in the same line. And then we'll take our crescent twist, hands on a heart center. Inhale, get some length, look left. Exhale, twist, right elbow hooks the left knee. The gaze starts to shift over your left shoulder if that feels okay. Maybe the arms can open up. Find that nice deep twist here. Hands come back together. Engage your core. Unhook the right elbow from your left knee. Come back to your crescent lunge. Both arms lift high. Then once you're stable, exhale, warrior two. Open up the hips. Press firm through the knife edge of the back foot. Feel the right glute engage to pull the hips open. Stay deep in the front knee. Flip the front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. Feel the left side body opening up as you sink deeper into your front knee. Active left arm reaching to the back of the room. Big breath in. Chaturanga, exhale, cartwheel the hands down and move with the breath. Maybe the option to lift that left leg, moving through the three-legged chaturangas. Downward dog, exhale. High plank on the inhale, come forward, pause here. Squeeze the fingers. And then slowly lower all the way down, chin and chest to the mat. Take your time to get there. And then once you're there, extend the arms out wide. Palms facing down, let's bend the elbows. So goalpost to the arms. Bend your knees, toes are touching behind you. We're going to take a back strengthening pose called skydiver. It sounds exactly like it looks. All right, exhale. Now the inhale, lift the elbows, lift the toes, lift the knees, squeeze your glutes. Nice, squeeze the shoulder blades to lift the elbows higher. Lift the back of the hands higher. Push the balls of the feet up to squeeze the glutes. Nice, stay engaged here, last 10 seconds. Push through your core. Squeeze the spine. One more breath. And slowly lower down. Gaze whichever direction feels best. Lengthen the legs. You can drop the heels side to side to release your lower back. All right, chin back to the mat. Hands underneath the shoulders. Press back up to high plank or hands and knees. Downward dog, exhale. All right, feet together. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee hovers right in front of that right elbow. Pause here. Don't let it touch. Squeeze your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Same idea. Pause here. Don't let it touch. Just pause in front. Pull the right shoulder back. Inhale, right leg lifts. And exhale, knee to nose. Toes start to flex, step between the hands, crescent lunge. Both arms lift high with square and stable hips. So feel the base. Feel your glutes light up. Next inhale, we're going to come into a one-legged Tadasana. Next inhale, slowly left knee into the chest, both arms down to the sides. Find stability on the right standing leg. Push the left knee up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Neutral at the spine, lift the arms above the head. And then slowly sit down into your chair pose. Knees and ankles together. Hands shift into heart center. Lengthen, look to the right. Then we'll twist on the exhale. Left elbow hooks the right knee. Keep the left knee pulled back so it's in line with the left or the right knee. Stack the elbows. Maybe think about opening up the arms. And if you have a side crow practice, you can move into side crow. Left elbow is going to hook inside or into the middle of the right thigh. Transfer weight to the hands. Maybe lift the knees and the legs off the ground. You can find a separation of the legs. So find your fullest expression here. Side crows make their way back to twisted chairs. Everybody come back to your Utkatasana. Arms lift high. And forward fold, exhale. Feet separate, hip distance apart. We'll take our peace fingers, wrap around the big toes, palms face in towards each other. Little half lift on the inhale. Pull and fold, exhale. 2 more times like that. Find some length as you inhale. Finding depth as you exhale. 1 more time. And then release the toes. Keep the feet hip distance apart. And we'll take our first set of Bakasana crow pose. So hands to the mat, shoulder width apart, fingers spread out nice and wide. Lift the heels, bend the knees, bring the knees into the triceps. And then start to play around here. If you're pretty proficient with crow, go wherever you feel necessary. Challenge yourself. If you're still working on crow, you can keep the knees to the triceps. Maybe keep the right toes on the mat as you lift the left toes. And then switch sides. Drop the left, lift the right. Now, if you're in crow and you practice shooting back, you can start your journey shooting back. We're going to all meet in downward dog in the next 2 breaths. So find your way through Chaturanga if you're going there, landing low in your low plank. Upper dog or low cobra. Downward dog as you exhale. Nice job. Pedal it out. All right, feet together. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee hovers in front of that left elbow. Brief little pause. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee across to the right. Pause again, right before you touch. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee into the nose. Flex the toes, step between the hands. Crescent lunge, lift up. And exhale, settle. Now, a few breaths to settle in and get your footing. We have that big transition forward in a couple breaths. Square through your hips. Feel that left leg get strong. Your next stable inhale, right knee into the chest, one-legged Tadasana, stepping forward. Push the right knee up, squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Neutral the spine, lift the arms above the head. And then we'll sit down into our Utkatasana chair pose. Knees and ankles touch as you sit down. Find a depth that feels good for you. Hands come into your heart. Sink down, inhale, lengthen, look to the left. We'll twist on the exhale. Right elbow hooking the left knee. Option to open up the arms or take this into your side crow. And I'll spin so you can see me in side crow if that's where you're going. Right elbow hooks the middle left thigh. Come onto the hands, maybe extend the legs. So your fullest expression here, wherever you're going. Side crows start to make their way back to your twisted chairs. Twisted chairs, square the body forward, come back into your traditional Utkatasana. Arms lift high, take your breath in, and fold down, exhale. And we'll separate the feet hip distance apart again. This time taking gorilla pose, so pressing into the heels, lift the balls of the feet, slide the hands underneath the feet, palms facing up. And you can wiggle the toes a few times to massage the wrists. Move right into your forward folds. So whatever feels best for you. All right, and slowly release the feet. Keep the feet hip distance. Our final set of Bakasana crow pose. Hands to the mat, fingers spread out wide, knees into the triceps. About the same amount of time, about 10 seconds. You can come forward, move into your fullest expression. And again, if you're playing around with it, just alternate toes on the ground. So right toes lift, left toes down, left toes lift, right toes down. And if you do practice shooting back, we're going to do that in about a couple breaths. So start planning that escape, that exit. And if you're shooting back, land in your low plank. Lift into your upward dog or your low cobra. Downward dog, exhale. All right, inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Pause here. Squeeze your fingertips, navel into spine. Press the floor away from you first. Feel the upper back engage as it opens up. And then slowly lower all the way down. Chin and chest to the mat. All right, our last back strengthening pose or series we'll take today. We'll take some back crunches. So chin and chest to the mat, hands interlaced at the back of the head. You can bring the feet together or just slightly separated, but try to keep the elbows really long and wide. All right, exhale. Inhale, lift. Inhale, down. Exhale, lift. That's 10. 9. Lifting through the elbows, lifting through the balls of the feet. Trying to get your chest and your thighs off the mat. For our last 5, 4, 3, nice and slow, 2, and 1. Slowly lower down. Gaze to the right. And the arms release down to your sides. Just feel that nice release into your lower back. And then from here, bring the arms out wide. And then we'll slide the right knee right up next to your right hip. We're taking our half frog pose. And you feel this nice little gentle hip opener on the right side. Just a few breaths here. And then adding on, we'll slide the elbows underneath the shoulders and add a Sphinx pose into this half frog. Now, if the half frog and Sphinx combination doesn't feel good for you, come down and then choose which one you'd rather take, Sphinx or half frog. But if both feel okay, we're just going to hang out here for about another 15 seconds or so. Stay with your breath. Eyes can be open or closed. All right, now slowly we're going to bow the elbows out to the sides first and release down from our Sphinx pose. You can bring your gaze to the right. And as soon as the spine is neutral, we'll draw the right knee in next to the left knee. And then shift our gaze to our left. And once everything feels good, left knee draws up in line with the left hip. And we'll take about 3 breaths here in this initial minor hip opener. And then we'll add our Sphinx back into it. One elbow at a time, shifting underneath the shoulders. And then we have our 30 seconds on the clock. And settle in here. And remember to listen to your body. Just because something feels good on one side doesn't mean it's going to innately feel good on the other side. So if you feel any twinging or something you need to kind of move away from, then listen to your body. Remember, coming down and then choosing which pose you'd rather do, Sphinx or your half frog. For about that 10-second mark. So not much longer here. All right, Alright, now bow the elbows out to the side as you let the chest come down, gazing to your left. And then once the forehead is on the mat, bring the knees back together. Again, that option to windshield wipe the knees or legs side to side to release any lower back tension. Alright, chin back to the mat. We're going to take one set of seal pose, just one more thing for our back. So for this version of seal, let's tent the fingers underneath the elbows. So the elbows, the hands are a little wider than shoulders. Now if this doesn't feel good, hands can come underneath the shoulders. Alright, so your version of seal pose. Exhale. Now the inhale, slowly lift the chest. And as you lift up, putting pressure into the lower back, you'll feel this out. If you want more, press more into the hands. If you want less, bend the elbows more. And then start to play around with squeezing the shoulder blades together to pull the chest through. Maybe shifting the gaze up. Engage your glutes, press your hip points down. Big breath in. And slowly lower all the way down, chin and chest to the mat. Gaze whichever direction feels best for you. You can bend the knees, windshield wipe the legs side to side. Feel that lower back start to release. And then we'll let the legs come down to the ground. Then press back into your child's pose. The knees can be pretty wide as you press back into your child's pose. Whatever feels right for you. This is our last pose of the class today. So as you find your way into child's pose, you can make your choice to end your class here. And if you want to extend into your final Shavasana, always an option. Now hang out here as long as you can. Let your body rest and recover. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below, or you can reach out to us on social media. Have an amazing rest of your day. Namaste.